was young and I wanted to experience life and go out with my friends. And then here I was being asked to take care, you know, and do this, you know. And I kind of just, you know, like I took care of my dad, but like I think my dad wanted to bond with me, and we did bond, but then at the same time it was kind of like, you know, I regretted that I should have gave extra care and extra love to my dad, and I didn't do those things, and you know, it's haunted me for so long because you know, my dad was always I considered him my best friend, and my dad was always very supportive of me, and he came around with everything, and you know, he never had a problem with me being who I am, and you know, and I miss that because like I feel like sometimes I think like, you know, if he was still around, I would have that relationship, that closeness where I can call him and I know that my dad, I always feel like my life would be in a completely different direction if had he be still alive, you know, if he was still around. Mm-hmm. So, you know, like I always had so much guilt carrying, you know, because I miss my dad. I miss him. I think about him constantly, and you know, I love him so much. And you know, like you're only granted with one father and one mother, you know. Mm-hmm. And my dad has always been, you know, I love him so much, and I just wish he was alive. And you know, it just sometimes I feel like, you know, he is such a smart man, and I know that he would give me good advice. He's always given me good advice, and he would tell me if I fuck up, he would tell me. He would give me tough love, but in a loving kind of sense, like, oh, you know, Nancy, this is what you got to do, and I'm telling you this because I love you, you know? Mm-hmm. So my biggest regret is that I wish I wasn't selfish, and I wish I spent more time with my dad before he passed away, as opposed to me being selfish and like going out with my friends, like you mentioned, and I could have had extra moments with my dad, you know. You know, I dealt with a lot growing up, you know, having that responsibility, you know, it's a lot to take mentally. And when my dad died, you know, I was the one who discovered him lying in the bathroom. Wow. So, you know, for me, like, it's been like this traumatic experience, because sometimes it plays back from time to time in my head where, you know, I had to break down the door and you know, see my dad, you know, lying there on the bathroom floor, and then calling the paramedics. You know, it was a lot for someone to take, you know, at that young age. And I blame my mom for, you know, because my dad always said, your mom, where is your mom? Your mom should be here, you know. And I always had that resentment talking, you know, with my mom, like, you know, because I know my mom would deny it, but I feel like she did neglect us, you know, in that circumstance. And had she been there, maybe my dad would have had more extra time, you know. Right. So, yeah, I feel that, you know, life is short. You should appreciate the ones that you have. Because I know in my life, I've lost a lot. I've lost 3 people that means a lot to me. And that's my uncle and my dad and my grandmother. So.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that.
For sharing your stories.
But yeah, no, I think just the main thing that we want to get across, and we're just trying to help people realize before it's too late, because, you know, now I have the burden of carrying a lot of guilt, a lot of anger for the rest of my life, I believe, over the things I did not do when my mother was here. And then the thing is that you have to understand is that sometimes you won't understand, you won't even see it until after your loved one or your mother is gone, and then it's too late. So all I want to say is, call your mother once a week, your father, whoever.
Tell them that you love them.
Yeah, tell them that you love them. And even the little things, like I would do the little things for my mother, all the time. So I was good to her, but I just still feel, a lot of guilt for what I didn't do. She knew I loved her a lot, and she told me, she says, you love me a lot, don't you? When she was on her deathbed, I said, yes. So she knew that. Right. But I just feel like, I think about her, I dream about her almost every day. And I want to get this message out to people, please. If you have parents that are older, my mother was 80 when she passed. Thank God, I had her for as long as I did. My father was 86, who passed away 2 months after her. I didn't have a close relationship with him, but he was a fun person, very loving, and we spent a lot of time together. When I went over there to be with my mother for a whole month, or a couple of weeks, I think I stayed there on my mother's bedside. So I feel good about having been there, but just do not take your mother for granted.
Yeah, I remember that I heard one time after my mom passed away that mother is God in the eyes of a child, and that hit me so hard. And it's so true that God created us, whatever God is. Obviously there is a creator, and that mother is God in the eyes of a child. That was really transformational in my life. So yeah, I just wanted to share that.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's beautiful. And I believe it. You shared that with me before, and I completely got it right away. But anyways, that's pretty much what I wanted to say. Please, people, do not take your mother for granted. Call her, visit her. Do not put her in a home, whatever. Just value her. If you have a loving mother, of course, I know some people are going to say, I hate my mother, she's a bad person, which some, not everybody's a perfect mother, but I was lucky to have, a saint for a mother, So, there's a lot of regret, a lot of anger, and there's nothing you can do after they pass, and that's it.
Right. So all you can do is connect with them and the after, spiritually, and you can actually
but
let go.
It's not the same.
Yeah. It's not the same, of course.
Yeah.
But you can let go little by little.
Yeah.
Can't keep the poison inside for long.
Yeah, hopefully we can work on that. Any last words you guys want to say?
No, just like what she said, just don't wait too long, and call your mother or your father any day. It doesn't have to be a holiday, you know what I mean, or a special occasion to do it. You should just do it, even if they don't want to hear it. Tell them that you love them, because you might not be able to tell them you love them if something happens to them. So I think in your mind, at least you won't have that guilty conscience that, I wasn't able to tell them that I love them before,
Right.
So I just believe that you should always tell them, say that regardless, even if they hate to hear it.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to say something that might transform a little bit about what we were talking about, on how we might have a parent that we don't get along with, and that we, there's some type of like karmic relationship between both of you and the parent. I think that there is something that they went through.
The parent.
Correct. The parent went through that they might not be able to share it with you. It may seem selfishly focused. It may seem like, that it's not fair. But there might be something that they went through that's been really hard for them to let go of, or that they've been hurting, or that something happened where you will never understand as their child, but only they know about it. And sometimes they want to keep it a secret, because at least with my mom, she was a little secretive.
So is mom.
Right. So I don't know, maybe that might help someone that to understand that sometimes when people or parents or relationships or whoever can't say something, it's because it's really hard for them, and everybody processes things differently. And that's why there should be unconditional love and compassion, even if they didn't have it towards us. But maybe that will help you in any way.
Last thing I just want to say is, I used to do this, and there's a meme about this where there's a phone call coming in, and it says "Mom," and says, "If you can still get this phone call, pick it up," because some of us
ignore it.
Cannot get this phone call ever again.
Right.
That was a very powerful meme when I saw that, and I had to share it. And it's like, if your mom is calling you, pick it up.
Right.
You know, if you can, for whatever reason, call her right back as soon as you can. It only takes, even I used to tell her myself, like, you know, I call you because it only takes like 10 seconds, you know, and just to say, hi, how are you okay, you know, so. Anyway, so that's it. You know, don't take your mothers for granted, and love them, and all your loved ones too. This goes out for, you know, all the loved ones, you know, call them, visit them, whatever. Thank you for listening.